Hi, I'm Anna the Wolf, and I'm so glad you're here at this transformational storytelling channel. I'm a multi generational storyteller trained in the oral tradition, and I would like to continue my story where I met you at the base of a tree, and you walked with a fox into the woods where you collected key components on your journey towards wholeness and well-being. The last time I saw you, you were in the fox's den, and the fox had given you some very important items for your travel into the future. He'd given you a compass, a pocket watch, as well as a pocket knife. Never know when that could come in handy. And regrettably, or maybe not so regrettably, we'll find out, he'd given you a box that was full of the deepest sorrow. It was quite sad to open up and listen to. But you took it with you, and you tucked it in your waistcoat, along with the other items that Mr. Fox had given you. He said, "This is as far as we go together. It's been my honor and my privilege to walk with you this far through the forest." And you said, "Mr. Fox, I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know at all. I don't even know what to do next. I've been at the base of the tree with my roots in the ground for so long, I have no idea what the rest of the world holds." And Mr. Fox said, "Well, that is precisely why you have a compass, my dear." And you held up your compass, and it showed a spinning wheel. He says, "Just spinning. What good is this? It has no direction whatsoever. You're a very funny fox, Mr. Fox." And Mr. Fox looked at me in his very trickster way and winked and said, "When it points true north, you've found your direction." And so you shimmied out of the den and emerged into a hillside that looked like any other day, quite ordinary. But you were no longer ordinary. You had become someone with a purpose. And so you held up your compass and you turned around and around until the dial stopped spinning and pointed up and over the hill. You had no idea what was on the other side, but you followed the direction up and over the hill, and at the base of the hill was a very large, quite placid lake. And you went to the edge, and the entire surface was made of mirror. It was almost like mercury. It reflected back your image and everything that you could see. It was the most interesting lake. I mean, all lakes, honestly, are reflective, but this one was a mirror. And you stood there, and you picked up a stone to skip, and it just skittered across the top. It couldn't even break the surface tension. You thought that's very peculiar. And you put your foot on the top, and all you could see was the bottom of your foot being reflected back to you. You thought, what a strange lake. It's a mirror of a lake. I don't know what on earth this could possibly teach me. So you got on your hands and knees and you looked as far as you could into the water. You could not see sand or stone or fish or waterweed. There was nothing other than your own eye looking back at you with increasing intensity as you tried to see something other than what you already saw around you. But all it could do was reflect back that which you already saw. What a strange, strange lake. And you stepped back and you sat down on the ground and you thought, I can't get around this lake, it's too large. I don't know what to do. And just then, you heard behind you the most interesting noise. And you looked around to see the black, glossy feathers of an enormous raven. The raven was larger than you, and he was directly behind you, prying open a nut. And he enjoyed eating it too, and it was clearly one of the black walnuts from the tree that you had originally sat beneath. And he sat back, and he looked at you with a sigh, and he said, "I suppose you'll be wanting to know what's in the lake." And you said, "Yeah, what's in the lake other than what I can already see?" He said, "Oh, you are far too close to the water to know what's beneath the surface." So really? Well, I don't know how else to get a view of the lake other than I'm as close as possible. And he said, "And that, my dear, is your problem. You are as close as possible, and your perspective is entirely wrong. Entirely wrong." And you leaned back and you looked at this magnificent bird and said, "Well, how can I have another perspective than the one which I've been given?" He said, "Well, for a price, I could give you another perspective." Like, really? What sort of price would be exacted? He said, "That compass that you used to get to this lake? I could use a compass." You said, "Oh, that's a fabulous idea. I will give you my compass." He said, "Great, climb on my back and hold on to my neck because perspective is about to be yours." And he lifted his mighty black wings, and the sound of wind emitted from them, and he cawed, and off you went, riding up, 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 higher and higher. And you circled the lake, and each circle took you higher and higher until you were nearly in the clouds, and you looked down, and you could see to the bottom of the middle of the lake, and it was crystal clear, and there was nothing like you'd seen from the shore. There were great groups of fish swimming about with silvery scales, and there were outcroppings of rock, and there was just there, swimming towards you across the lake, an enormous turtle. And it dove down, and you could see it go to the bottom of the lake, and there it went into a small alcove. And you came to realize that this was where you also needed to be. That it was this, the center of the lake, down in the muck and mire, below the surface, that was going to be your next mission. And so that is the end of this chapter. And I very much look forward to joining you again in the next story of transformative storytelling with Anna the Wolf. And I do hope that you'll give this a like and perhaps subscribe. And I really look forward to our time together. Thanks so much for joining me today. Goodbye.